Okay, so the name of my presentation today, thank you, is Cooking and Grocery. Both are alive and well. So I'll tell you a little bit about me and why I have any authority to be up here. Basically, in 2010, I went back to get my master's degree in food studies. It's a combination of sustainability, food policy, and like anthropology about food, basically. And as part of that program, I learned one fundamental thing, which was that home cooking is the single lever that a person can pull that is not only good for them, but the environment and their community. So I set out to create a place where people could learn how to cook from home. Not a professional culinary school, but a recreational school where people could really engage and learn how to cook and have fun. So I opened Haven's Kitchen in 2012. Basically to get people on board with the idea that home cooking is good for our bodies, our communities, and our environment. And the proof is there. There are tons of studies that show that regardless of income, people who cook more from scratch have healthier diets, less sugar, less fat, less carbs, less salt. There's an element of self-efficacy in being able to make yourself what you want to eat. And it's certainly a form of self-care, which is, the hashtag that Millennials love. Definitely good for your family and your community. Cooking for others is definitely a way to build bonding and intimacy. It's a way of connecting in a very sort of disconnected world. People tend to put down their phones, hopefully, when they're sitting around a table. And in terms of the environment, hands down, it's a net positive. People who cook more from scratch understand their sourcing better. They care more about not only the animal treatment, but also the fair labor practices of farmers. They care more about food policy issues. They avoid packaging more often. They buy fresh seasonal food more often, which uses less chemical inputs. And at the end of the day, it's like a no-brainer that home cooking is actually really good for you, your community, and your environment. But when I tell people that I own a cooking school and that that's what I've been doing for 7 years, oftentimes people say, yeah, I get it, it's good, but do people really want to cook? And if you listen to Silicon Valley, then they would say no, people don't. Cooking is very analog, everything needs to be digital, you don't need to actually sit at a table to enjoy a meal. You can put all of your nutrients into a powder or a tablet or a drink. Nobody has time to actually eat anymore. We're all too busy building empires. We definitely don't want to cook. That's so old school. And my thesis after 7 years of running my school is that they are dead wrong. People actually do want to cook. Millennials especially want to cook. Cooking is cool. Cooking is fun. Cooking is adulting. It used to be that when you wanted to sort of show some sort of social equity, you would tell people where you ate out. Now you can tell people what you cooked at home. Plus you have some pretty cool celebrities out there that are constantly talking about what they're making, how they're making it. There's a ton of social media out there about recipes and about food. And I love this thing about From Healthyish. So you're in your 30s and you're going to have a dinner party. You know what? Scratch that. You're going to have a da-da-da-da-da. So it's definitely a sign of the times that cooking at home is like a groovy thing to do. So despite all the hoopla and all of the sort of the sky is falling, home cooking is a lost art, no one's making food anymore, the world is going to be, fast casualed and convenienced, and they're going to figure out how to make produce shelf stable in Silicon Valley. There are actually some pretty significant drivers proving the opposite. One is men. Men are cooking more. 44% of men say that they cook frequently. That's up significantly in the last decade. That happens because people are getting married later, as we know, more dual income families. And so men are actually enjoying the process. Obviously, the second big driver is digital and social media. recipes and inspiration are all over the place. You look on Instagram or Facebook or YouTube, people like watching cooking, people like watching food a lot. That means that about 42% of millennials consider their cooking skills advanced. Again, significantly higher than it was like 35, even in like 2012 or something like that. Then there's the diets. Who doesn't know someone who's either vegan or doesn't eat vegetables but only eat meat? You know, they don't eat gluten or they only eat gluten. There are tons of diets. Obviously, the best way to control what you're putting in your body is to make it yourself. Huge driver. And then we have the big elephant in the room, which is the meal kit market, which got people interested in the art of cooking and sort of started giving people some of the skills, but with a 90% unsubscription rate in 6 months, something's lacking there. So it's still a growing market. It looks like it's going to grow 36% to an $8.5 billion meal kit market by 2025. That being said, there are some issues there. So the way that we talk about home cooking today is that the way people cook now is different than it used to be, and the way that they engage with their food is different than it used to be. And that's because they have different goals, right? Today's consumer, number one goal, convenience. They want it healthy, they want it functional, they want eco-friendly, not only ingredients, but packaging. They want global flavors, they want excitement, they want to touch places in the world that they've only read about or they've seen on digital media. They see cooking as a creative outlet, so they want to kind of feel the process and enjoy it. They don't want to be tied to particular recipes or to like a little kit where you have this little package of cilantro and this little teaspoon of cinnamon. They do see it as a form of sort of social prowess, I guess. You know, I know how to cook for a dinner party. I had people come over the other night. We had some wine. It was great. And they want brands that feel like tribes to them. You guys all know, I'm sure, that brands have become sort of the new religion. Your loyalty to your brand is kind of like your loyalty to your club, and they expect those brands to be loyal back in return. And with different goals, that means that they have different needs. And that's kind of the second part of what I want to talk about, because now that we know that people are cooking more from scratch, there's a big opportunity for people not only creating products, but retailers to understand the needs of those consumers who do want to cook more and to fill them with products and with services. So what are the needs? They need it to be easy. They need it to be fun and social. They need clean label. We know that. They need mindful packaging. That means not only the packaging itself needs to be more eco-friendly, but the kind of the way that the packaging is done needs to be digitally friendly, in-store friendly, super easy to read, super clear what the benefits are. They need products that are versatile, that can be used in all different ways, because they want to make it their own. One thing about a millennial cook is that they don't want to follow the exact recipe. They want to make it theirs, and they want to play with it. They need the flavors to be bold and authentic. They don't want to feel like they're supporting the man. And they need omni-channel branding, which is challenging for us as we, make products, because it used to be you either like focused on your in-store demos and your merchandising and your promos, or you were digitally native. Now you're both, and all of them. No brand can be just one. So digitally native brands are looking for distribution, and wholesale brands are looking to figure out ways to connect digitally with their consumers. The good news is that they're willing to pay for it. So millennials spend about $800 more monthly on groceries than previous generations. And who are they? Who is this consumer, right? Today's home cook is a doer. They probably have at least a job and a side gig, right? They want to feel confident. They want to feel content in the kitchen. They want convenience. They want it to be easy. They don't want a lot of pressure. And that's what our students say about meal kits. They've been saying for years, I actually get more anxious when I subscribe to a meal kit, because I feel like I have to do the thing that the meal kit's telling me to do, and they kind of pile up, and then it shows up, and then I'm nervous, and then I feel guilty, and then it's wasteful, and it's this anxious cycle. They enjoy socializing over food. They like choice, and they like creativity. They want to belong to a tribe that represents their values, right? And eat food that is functional, so it's good for their bodies and good for the planet. So what does that mean for the grocery store? And what happened for us is that we kind of leveraged all of this knowledge and our community a couple of years ago, and we started a line of sauces. And so the way that we kind of approached it is saying, okay, there's this massive white space between traditional home cooking, the way that people think of it, and the meal kit cooking. And so we're just going to create what our students have been telling us they've wanted for a few years, which are all of the things that I talked about, all of the needs. So we created a line of sauces that are easy to use. They are fun and social. They are very clean label. They are mindful in their packaging. They're super versatile. They have bold, authentic flavors. And we're launching them, trying to not only do as much as we can in-store to drive trial, but also making sure that our digital community is super connected and that they're sharing recipes and that they know what to do with these things. And the way that we're talking to our customers, the retailers, about it is that even if you take all of the, you take the biggest guess that 20% of groceries are going to be bought online by 2025. Obviously, every retailer is trying to figure out how to do online. They're all trying to figure out the meal kits. They're all trying to figure out how to connect digitally with their consumers. But that still leaves 80% of groceries bought in store. So what can retailers do, right, to make sure that they're capturing that 80% and they're doing the best possible job considering the needs and the goals of the consumers that I was just talking about? So to me, and this is the way that we talk to buyers about our sauces, they have a huge opportunity. They need to create easy shopping experiences. If you think about Thanksgiving bundles, right? Grocers have been doing that forever. They put the stuffing and the cranberry sauce and the turkey, and they put it all together. It's obviously hard when you have some ambient and some refrigerated, right? But it's time to rethink the planograms, and it's time to rethink the way that consumers are engaging with grocery stores, because they're used to engaging with products online, and obviously it's very easy to bundle digitally, right? Because you don't have to refrigerate something on a screen. But we think that retailers can lean in, create easy shopping experiences that allow for personal expression and curation. Consumers, again, they don't want to be told how exactly to make something. We've seen very, very clearly when people look at our pouches of sauce and it says they're just marinade, dress, drizzle. I can tell you, and I am 47, so I am not shading my own generation, but my age group is but what do I do with it? Where's the recipe? Anyone under 40, they're oh, this is awesome. I just get to drizzle it on whatever I want. I love the fact that you don't have a prescriptive recipe for it. It's very clear, a very clear line. So they want personal expression. They want to be able to make what they want to make when they want to make it. And I think that there's really an opportunity to rearrange those planograms and reflect the digital experience a little bit more. They also have to get rid of some of the products there to make room for products like ours. That really speak to the needs of today's consumer, right? People want meal helpers. They want quick meal solutions. They want things that take shorter than ordering in. They don't necessarily want to subscribe and then have to unsubscribe to a meal kit. They also don't necessarily need to buy a whole meal kit in the store. They know how to pick a good thing of spinach. They can get a chicken breast, and all they need is little products here and there that help make that more to their taste and what they want. And again, it's about the individual, right? The today's shopper, at the end of the day, wants to be seen for their individuality, and they want to feel good about what they're doing. And again, they want confidence. And I think not only as producers, but as retailers, we have a really big opportunity. So don't write off home cooking, and definitely don't write off the grocery store. Thanks, Gretchen.
Just while I have you up here, while we
Yes.
have Sushma in the wings, what's the full line of sauces?
It's funny, I didn't really I
You
didn't.
want to bring up your whole team and help you?
No, it's funny because like I was like, this is an educational thing. I don't want to be like selling my wares, but I will now since you asked.
Please.
It's a line of fresh, vegan, gluten-free sauces in pouches that look great both online and on shelf. We have 5 SKUs right now. We have a chimichurri, a harissa, a gingery miso, a nutty lemongrass, and romesco, a red pepper sauce. So they can all be used, like you see, they can be used to marinate, to dress. You can roast with them, you can saute with them, you can just drizzle them on a salad. But again, it's like completely reflective of what people are asking for. They just want a quick hack. They don't need a whole rigmarole.
But even us Gen Xers, we still love it.
I mean, I hope so. I love Gen Xers
Gen
as
Xer.
well. They're my
Love
people, but at the end of the day, it's funny because someone said to me the other day, why don't millennials cook? And I was like, millennials do cook. It's the Gen Xers that don't. And it's because, I don't know who else is my age, but my mother fought for her right to not have to be in the kitchen. Similar to like not wearing a bra, she didn't want to be behind a stove, right?
We're also not wearing bras.
I mean, who needs a bra? But
we had a pact about that. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah. But it's like things skip a generation, right? She fought for that, and so I grew up like, I was unusual because I actually really loved the kitchen, and it was my haven, hence the name Haven's Kitchen. But after that generation, the next generation is like, ooh, what is that cool metal thing in the kitchen where I've been storing my shoes? And they're like, oh, it heats up and I can make food in that. Like, it's very cool to them. They're excited about it. I mean, the number one reason why people come to our classes, we have, hundreds of thousands of cooking students that come in every year. And time again, when we say, why are you here? It's not because I want to learn how to make XYZ. It's because I thought it would be fun. I think it will be fun to learn how to make myself some food. They don't want to keep ordering in. They get home, they're tired, they feel like they've been kind of harassed all day. They don't necessarily want to get on the phone or go and wait in a line and pick up some things in a cardboard box. They want to put something in the oven and like do a little sauce and feel good about themselves and maybe take a picture of it and say like, look what I made,
We got to take the picture. Well,
Yeah.
fantastic.
Yeah.
Please join me in thanking Alison.